The silent Holocaust, the forgotten tragedy of 6 million lives in the Congo. In the heart of Africa, a human tragedy of immense proportions has unfolded over the last few decades, a crisis that has claimed more than 6 million lives, yet remains largely invisible in global consciousness. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, a nation rich in natural resources and breathtaking beauty, has also become synonymous with suffering, exploitation, and a level of violence that has led many to describe it as the deadliest conflict since World War II. And yet, where is the outrage? Where are the headlines? Where is the justice? A country plagued by colonialism and exploitation. To understand the ongoing crisis in Congo, one must begin with its colonial past. The DRC, once the personal property of King Leopold II of Belgium, was subject to one of the most brutal colonial regimes in history. Between 1885 and 1908, an estimated 10 million Congolese died under his rule, through forced labor, starvation, mutilation, and execution. The colonial legacy left deep scars and institutional weaknesses that continue to plague the country today. After independence in 1960, Congo was thrown into political chaos. Patrice Lumumba, the country's first democratically elected prime minister, was assassinated in a Western-backed coup that led to decades of kleptocratic rule under Mobutu Sese Seko. Mobutu plundered the country's wealth while stifling dissent and enriching himself and his allies. The First and Second Congo Wars, the African World Wars. The turning point came in the late 1990s. In 1996, the First Congo War broke out, with Rwanda and Uganda backing Laurent Desire Kabila to overthrow Mobutu. In 1997, Mobutu fled and Kabila seized power. But the honeymoon was short-lived. In 1998, the Second Congo War erupted, this time involving 9 African nations and over 20 armed groups. It wasn't just a war over politics. It was a war for control over Congo's vast resources: gold, diamonds, coltan, essential for electronics, tin, and tungsten. Multinational corporations, warlords, and foreign powers profited while ordinary Congolese people paid the price with their lives. The International Rescue Committee estimated that by 2007, 5.4 million people had died from conflict-related causes, most of them from preventable diseases, starvation, and lack of access to medical care. Since then, that number has risen, with conservative estimates placing the total at over 6 million deaths. Rape is a weapon of war. One of the most horrific aspects of the conflict in Congo has been the systematic use of rape as a weapon of war. Armed groups, militias, and even national forces have used sexual violence to terrorize communities, destroy families, and assert control over territories. Dr. Denis Mukwege, a Congolese gynecologist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate, has treated thousands of rape survivors at the Panzi Hospital in Bukavu. He has described the violence as unlike anything seen anywhere else in the world. Victims range in age from infants to the elderly. The brutality is often surgical, designed to destroy not just the body but the soul. The looting of Congo's minerals. What makes Congo's tragedy even more devastating is that it is driven by greed for natural resources. The DRC sits on vast deposits of coltan, a mineral essential to smartphones, laptops, and other electronic devices. Armed groups control many of the mining areas, often using forced labor, including child labor, to extract these resources. These conflict minerals then enter global supply chains, ending up in the devices we use every day. While some tech companies have made efforts to source minerals responsibly, enforcement is patchy and smuggling remains rampant. In essence, the Congolese people are dying so the rest of the world can stay connected and wealthy, a failure of the international community. Despite the scale of the crisis, the international response has been woefully inadequate. The United Nations has deployed one of its largest peacekeeping missions, MONUSCO, but has been criticized for its inability to protect civilians or disarm militias effectively. Western media, by and large, has ignored Congo. While conflict in Ukraine or the Middle East dominate headlines, Congo rarely receives more than a passing mention. The silence is deafening, and it is a silence that kills. The role of Rwanda and Uganda. Several investigations, including UN reports, have documented the involvement of Rwanda and Uganda in fueling the conflict by backing rebel groups and looting mineral resources. Yet these governments continue to enjoy international aid and strategic partnerships with the West, particularly the United States and the UK. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, often hailed in the West as a reformist, has faced multiple accusations of war crimes in Congo. Yet there has been no accountability. The way forward, justice and memory. There can be no lasting peace in Congo without justice. The international community must support the establishment of international tribunals to prosecute war crimes, impose sanctions on individuals and entities profiting from conflict minerals, enforce transparency in global supply chains, increase humanitarian aid and medical support for survivors, acknowledge the genocide-level magnitude of the conflict, and memorialize the victims. We must call this what it is, a Holocaust, a genocide of the Congolese people perpetuated by global indifference and corporate greed. Never again must mean never again, everywhere. When we say never again, we must mean it for every nation, every people, every time. 6 million lives lost in Congo should command the same moral outrage as any other human catastrophe. The fact that they don't is a stain on the conscience of the world. Let us not wait for history books to teach us what we already know, that silence in the face of genocide is complicity. Speak out. Share their stories. Demand justice. The people of Congo deserve nothing less.